was a foggy evening as I approached Seguin Island Lighthouse, commissioned by none other than George Washington in 1795. Its eerie silhouette stood against the darkening sky, a sentinel of stone built in 1857, replacing its wooden and earlier stone predecessors. The sea's whispers seemed to carry stories of the past, and as I drew closer, I could almost feel the weight of history pressing down on me. I had always been fascinated by tales of haunted lighthouses, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to experience. The lighthouse keeper's house, where I would be spending the night, loomed ahead, its windows dark and unwelcoming. I recalled the story of the mid-19th century keeper and his wife, their tragic end still haunting these grounds. Isolated from the world, the keeper had ordered a piano to soothe their loneliness. Yet, the endless repetition of a single melody had driven him to madness, leading him to destroy the piano, murder his wife, and finally, take his own life. As I unlocked the door and stepped inside, the air was thick with an unsettling stillness. I set my bag down and decided to explore. The old piano, or what remained of it, stood in the corner of the main room, its keys yellowed and broken. I reached out and touched one, expecting nothing, but a hauntingly familiar melody filled the air. My heart raced as I spun around, but I was alone. The melody continued, a spectral echo from the past. I tried to shake off the fear, attributing the sound to my imagination, and decided to head upstairs to the keeper's quarters. As I ascended the narrow staircase, each creak seemed to grow louder, more oppressive. At the top, a cold draft swept past me, carrying with it the faint scent of sea brine and something else, something metallic. Blood, perhaps? The room at the end of the hall called to me, its door slightly ajar. I hesitated, then pushed it open. The keeper's bedroom was sparsely furnished, but everything seemed disturbingly in place, as if someone had just left and would return at any moment. I moved toward the bed, noticing an old worn journal on the nightstand. Opening it, I found pages filled with increasingly erratic handwriting, detailing the keeper's descent into madness. The last entry ended abruptly, smeared with what looked like blood. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, but the hallway was empty. The footsteps continued, now louder, more insistent. They seemed to be coming from downstairs. Gathering my courage, I followed the sound, the floorboards groaning under my weight. As I reached the bottom, the melody of the piano resumed, but this time it was accompanied by a woman's soft sobbing. The main room was bathed in an unnatural light, and there, by the piano, stood a ghostly figure. The woman was dressed in a 19th century gown, her eyes hollow and lifeless, yet filled with an eternal sorrow. She continued to play, her fingers moving over the keys with a mechanical precision. I tried to speak, but no words came out. She looked up, her gaze piercing through me, and the room suddenly grew colder. Then, as quickly as she appeared, she vanished, leaving only the chilling melody hanging in the air. I stumbled back, my breath coming in shallow gasps. The sobbing had stopped, but now I heard a new sound, a child's laughter, echoing through the halls. I turned to see a young girl, translucent and ethereal, running past me, her laughter both joyful and haunting. Terrified, I backed into the kitchen, where the remnants of an old meal were laid out as if waiting for someone. The utensils began to rattle, lifting off the table and floating before me. I heard whispers, unintelligible but filled with despair and anger. I needed to get out, but the door slammed shut, trapping me inside. I was not alone. In a desperate bid to escape, I ran to the back door, but it too refused to budge. The whispers grew louder, more frenzied. I could feel unseen hands brushing against me, pulling at my clothes. The room seemed to close in, and just as I thought I would be overwhelmed, a voice boomed through the chaos. "Leave my home alone!" The temperature plummeted, and a figure in oilskins appeared before me, his eyes filled with a mix of sorrow and rage. It was the keeper, his presence both commanding and tragic. He raised a hand and the chaos ceased. The utensils clattered to the floor, and the whispers died away. "Please," he said, his voice a tortured whisper, "leave my home." With those words, he vanished, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. I scrambled to the front door, which now opened easily, and fled into the night. As I reached the shore, I looked back one last time. The lighthouse stood silent, its beacon piercing the darkness, a lone sentinel in the night. To this day, I cannot forget the terror I felt within those walls, nor the ghostly melody that haunted my every step. The Seguin Island Lighthouse remains, its tragic past echoing through time, a testament to the madness and sorrow that once consumed it. And if you listen closely on a foggy night, you might still hear the haunting strains of that single mournful song.